Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And to Guru, Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And to Gauranga, Namo Maha Varanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvijay Namaha. So a slightly different order today, and if we chant this one verse, Vandeham Shri Guru, it covers all and is very substantial pranam verse. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sarjivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vashakan Vitangscha Vande Vishva Gurum Chadibhya. Aha, sorry, I was thinking something else, so now I messed up the last line. Who's going to tell me the last line? Okay, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yudapada Kamalang Shri Guru Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagarajam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sanjivam Sadvaitam Savrutam Sadvaitam Savrutam. Oh my goodness.
Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Devam
Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vashakan Vitangscha. Okay. Just to let you know, I'm a resident of Kali Yuga, fallen soul. We have poor memory, poor focus, poor everything, and a short life. But we try to use our short life and whatever little bits of memory and little bits of focus we have, we'll try to use in the service of Guru and Gauranga. And as soon as we take off our focus from something and the mind goes somewhere else, then our autopilot may not work so well, but we don't want to be on autopilot. We want to be on conscious pilot. Hare Krishna. All right, so we're together here. It is the London Zoom. Oh yeah, we do have West London here. Okay, we have West London here, and we don't yet have Devashis Prabhu, but he's gone to the eye hospital today because you probably know he's got one eye which is somewhat problematic. And yes, no, Devashis Prabhu is not here. If somebody notices Devashis Prabhu pop in and I don't, please do let me know. But this is the London Zoom and he's likely to be here soon. Now, last week we mentioned that Devashis Prabhu would show the video that he showed in Thailand about chanting japa, which is a good little video for us, and that the theme would be about japa in this week. But this theme is postponed until next week because, as Devashis Prabhu thought, he's not with us, at least on time. He may join us a little later today. But instead, Devashis Prabhu has given us, as always, some very good food for us to consider, something to chew, maybe doesn't sound right, but something to ruminate on. A cow ruminates, doesn't it? And so ruminating, to consider. And the title he gave for this week is Dedication to Krishna is Nectar. Okay? And exploitation is poison. Dedication to Krishna is nectar, and exploitation is poison. So on that theme, so on that theme, I'm going to be Devashis Prabhu for a few minutes. So I'm representing Devashis because I expect he's thinking of this excerpt. It's a short excerpt, it's a very short excerpt. 1, 2, 3, 3 paragraphs and a bit. So it's a short excerpt. But I expect this, he's been reading, and this probably jumped out at him, because when we read, things do jump out at us. And this is a quote from Srila Guru Maharaj. And for the translators, it's the last of the quote options that I included. So you can take a look at that. It'll be helpful for your translation. I think Udaran Prabhu sent that to each of the translators. Yes?
No, you didn't send me, Maharaj.
I didn't send you.
Yes.
Yes. I sent you on Skype. Is that correct? Or did you want it on WhatsApp?
I will check again, but 10 minutes before, I think it wasn't. Let me check.
Okay. Anyhow,
Yes, yes, I see.
You
It
see,
was
okay, if you
1
can
minute
just forward that to the
before yeah.
translators. And I'm going to start reading. It's very short, so let's see. Oh, now I've lost it. So Srila Guru Maharaj, Jai Srila Bhakti Rakha Kridha, Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. He's the author of this. And of course, Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And our whole Rupanuga Uruvaga Ki Jai. But here's Srila Guru Maharaj speaking. Dedication to Krishna is nectar, and exploitation of this material energy is poison. Dedication to Krishna is nectar, and exploitation of this material energy is poison. And what the followers of Shankar and Buddha want is the middle position, where everything is harmonized into death, the plane of cessation of difference, to stop everything, no difference, no feeling, no nothing. So death. And that is Brahma Nirvana, the final peace, devoid of trouble, where all are buried in eternal slumber. If you prefer, then you can go there. But what you find in this world is the reflection of the original whole, perverted into exploitation. On the other side is dedication. So exploitation, then the nirvana section, nothing. There's everything trying to stop. And then on the other side is dedication. So Srila Guru Maharaj saying, so on the other side is dedication. In the group of servitors practicing pure dedication, even their quarrel becomes beautiful. Whatever is found here is found there totally. Try to understand this general principle. This is Srila Guru Maharaj. Srila Guru Maharaj is not only like saying things, he's really trying to transmit. And you can feel it when he's explaining something and then he's saying, try to understand this general principle. Then Srila Guru Maharaj helping us to understand. A poison may be utilized as medicine when applied properly. The Mayavadis, the impersonalists, cannot find any harmony in difference. They can only find harmony in the conception of non-differentiated Brahma consciousness. Non-differentiated Brahma consciousness. And by the way, on this note, sometimes we find that for years, devotees haven't kind of caught the difference. Brahma, with a long A at the end, is Lord Brahma, four-headed Brahma, who is the creator of the content of this universe. Brahma, but Brahma is the effulgence, the energy of the Lord, likened to the light, the bright sunlight coming off the sun. So it's the non-differentiated effulgence section. So the impersonalists cannot find any harmony in difference. They can only find harmony in the conception of non-differentiated Brahma consciousness, not Brahma consciousness, Brahma consciousness. They cannot keep up the beautiful harmony in variety held by the Vaishnavas. So if you find a Vaishnava, there you will find the beautiful harmony in variety. And here we have a Vaishnava speaking. We've got Srila Guru Maharaj explaining these things, and he knows, and he's expressing and sharing with us. So they cannot keep up the beautiful harmony in variety held by the Vaishnavas. Rather, they consider that everything must be merged into one to solve the problems of the world. Other than that, they have no solution, but only disturbance. Now, Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, with the qualifications of humility, patience, and forbearance, with no tendency to seek self-glory, but rather to glorify others and honor their respectable existence, we can live happily with our neighbors and the whole environment. Mahaprabhu has given this solution to us, and we are to equip ourselves in this way. And then just a short bit more. Why should you think your neighbor to be undesirable? You are not to complain against the environment, but you are to control yourself and come to the proper understanding. With proper adjustment, you will find everything to be harmonious, the desired land of your life. At home, you shall find everything. So that's a section which began with dedication to Krishna is nectar, and exploitation of this material energy is poison. So I think I'm being a Devashis Prabhu representative by reading that section. Hare Krishna. So, would anyone like to drink poison? Would anyone like to drink nectar? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Harigopal Prabhu would like to drink nectar, whereas nobody put up a hand for drinking poison, but only Harigopal Prabhu wants to drink nectar. Okay, Ramananda Prabhu. Yes, thank you, Ramananda Prabhu. Braja Rama, Chaitanya Moy. Yes, we've got some more volunteers for the pot of nectar here, Ganga Leela. All right. Hare Krishna. Nobody wants to take poison. I mean, of course, unless in this world, you know, someone's in a desperate position, but they also know that's just desperation. But when we've got the guidance to the pot of nectar, why take poison? I can read you a shorter excerpt because really we're here to hear from our masters. Here's a shorter excerpt also from Srila Guru Maharaj. Try, and it's the first one, by the way, the devotees who have the translating duty. Try to recognize that your situation is full of honey, full of nectar. This is Guru Maharaj's words. Try to recognize that your situation is full of honey, full of nectar. Don't try to see only the outer cover. Your vision must be deep enough to see the real position. And then you will find everything is like nectar to you. And then a line that quite common to many, Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra. This clarion call is coming from the Veda. And clarion call means the loud call to everyone, grand call. This clarion call is coming from the Veda. That, quote, "O you sons of nectar, attempt to listen to my words. You are really sons of the nectar lake. Why should you be like poison? Are you a poisonous unit? Are you now downtrodden to become units of poison? But your real, innate self, you are a drop of the nectar ocean. Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra." And then very famously, awake, arise, arise to your self-consciousness that you are a drop of the nectar ocean. Try to realize it. All Guru Maharaj's words here. Your attachment to the outer cover, not only the covers outside, but of yourself also. All are covers in reality. Don't be a cover calculator. Don't be a cover calculator, looking everything in the relativity of the cover, but dive deep into your own self, in the existence of your environment. Dive deep and you will find all nectar, no poison. Poison is a thing superficial to your real conception. So all that was Srila Guru Maharaj, like expressing this expression, Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra, that you were born from nectar, you're born to taste nectar, don't be satisfied by anything else. And now Srila Guru Maharaj, just 2 sentences after sort of giving this expanded explanation and expression, what the Vedas are saying, then Srila Guru Maharaj says, to make much of the cover of things, ignoring the substance within, is nothing but cover transaction. Nate vidu svatagating hi vishnung durashaya ye bahir ata maninaha. I'm not sure where that quote comes from. But then Srila Guru Maharaj says, it is nothing but cover transaction. It is poisonous. So to make much of the cover of things, ignoring the substance within, is nothing but cover transaction. It is poisonous. Okay, and I have another separate quotation from Guru Maharaj also, and it's very short. It's like 7 lines. Properly adjusted, when we've got ourselves properly adjusted, we want nothing less than Krishna. So everything must be connected with Krishna and seen through his interest. My interest should not entertain any independent friendship with anyone. Everything should be done on Krishna's account. Negotiation, transaction, and future prospect. Everything is for the center, for Krishna. In this way, everything will come to me through the absolute good. Then all the poison will be eliminated, and whatever comes to me will be mixed with nectar. Okay, you guessed what it was going to be mixed with, didn't you? Hare Krishna. Okay, so now I'm exhausted after all of that. And look how Srila Guru Maharaj is flowing from his mouth, flowing nectar. And actually this morning in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we just, in our regular reading, daily reading, we're in the section of the Ramananda Samvad. And there was a very beautiful verse where Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda Roy that what is coming out of your mouth, as he's going deeper and deeper into Krishna conception, saying what is coming from your mouth is like a river of nectar flowing from your mouth. Tell me more, tell me more. In this way, Mahaprabhu is saying to Ramananda Roy, and here we've heard from Guru Maharaj, and you see coming from Guru Maharaj's mouth is a river of nectar. This is our fortune, that we're able to be somehow able to touch a drop or a molecule or some spray, something from that river of nectar that comes from Srila Guru Maharaj's mouth, flowing from his mouth. And I have this verse also. Okay, a little Bengali for you. Prabhu kohe. Everybody knows what that means, right? Mahaprabhu said, Age koha, shunite pai sukhe. Apurva amrita nadi bahe tomara mukhe. This verse, this is the verse. It was so sweet, and I went to it later and quoted it to one or two of our friends. Prabhu kohe, age kaha, speak more. Shunnite, hearing, pai, when I achieve, get that. Sukhe, I am completely happy. And then apurva, amazing. Amrita, nectar. Nadi, river. Vahe, flows. Tomara, your mukhe, mouth, like this. So Lord Mahaprabhu said, please speak on. I am very happy to hear you, because a river of unprecedented nectar is flowing from your mouth. Hare Krishna. So this is Guru Maharaj. This is Gurudev. This is Srila Prabhupada. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Also, by the way, this is Krishna Das Kaviraj. This is the flow of the pure devotees. They are giving us nectar and no poison. In fact, they're giving us the antidote for poison. When we can connect with their flow, then the poison of all kinds of definitions of poison, being self-centered, is to be in poison. Our title for today was Dedication to Krishna is nectar, yes, and exploitation is poison. But all kinds of poison, the wrong things in our mind, the wrong thinking. We had one devotee, I remember he made a poem one time in Navadip, one of our dear Bengali devotees. He made a poem, and I don't remember the whole thing, but you know how the poems are usually about, doing devotional service and thinking of Krishna, remembering Krishna. But I remember his poem went something along the lines of eating, sleeping, doing wrong, and then ... And it's like describing, oh dear, instead of being a devotee, we're eating and sleeping and doing wrong, this, that, and the other. If anyone has a copy of that poem, Should probably throw it away. Yes, okay. I was going to say you could send me it to remind me, but probably better to throw it away. Hare Krishna. Okay, London Zoom. And yes, we're not far away from London. In fact, we're in London. I've been sitting in Devashis Prabhu's chair doing his reading. And he's not here, is he? No. But Devananda Prabhu is here also, and Shama Malini, and Vijayananda and Saumya Sham are there here now. Yes, Ananda Swarupini. We do have devotees from London with us, and we have a West London temple room full with devotees. And do we have, somebody's jumping up and down.
Yeah.
But I can't make it any bigger. Oh, someone's made it bigger. Thank you very much. I couldn't see who is there. So, dear devotees, can we ask for a contribution? We are sitting with you in the West London temple. Maybe Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu would like to share a word or two, at least so we've got a flavor of London.
Okay.
But please come close to the microphone so we can hear a little bit clearly.
Is that better, Raj?
I don't know, he hasn't spoken anything yet, but you're loud and clear, Lavanya Moididi.
What is that?
It must be a sign. We must be meant to be hearing from you in a moment too.
How is that? Is that better?
It's all good, Prabhu, yes.
Okay. All right, Dandavat Maharaj and everyone. Well, when I saw the title, I was reminded of the quote, the famous quote of Guru Maharaj that you read regarding being sons of nectar, children of nectar, born of nectar, destined to taste nectar. And so arise as a clarion call, the broad general call to arise and taste that nectar. Theme being that service to Krishna is nectar. And then I thought that, well, it's a very kind of fundamental theme of Bhakti theology, that aversion to Krishna and the activities that are based on such Krishna, they produce toxicity, they poison, they produce generally unwanted, undesirable effects. And the converse applies to devotion to Krishna, that it produces positive effects. Indeed, Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu gives 6 kind of broad categories of what bhakti will produce. The first is that it relieves material suffering, tends to diminish the anxieties and the anxiousness that is so pervasive to material life. It produces auspiciousness as a second effect, and other effects such as it makes impersonal liberation appear negligible, it attracts Krishna, it's rarely achieved, and it is essentially at its end stage fundamental concentrated bliss. So in that sense, and then Rupa Goswami also says, I think in the first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Akila Rasamrita Murti Prasrimada Ruchi Ruta Parakapali. So Krishna being the Rasa Amrita Murti, and that the theme of Amrita, or the word Amrita, features quite pervasively in various slokas and various key concepts of Vaishnava doctrine, including this, which I believe, is it the first verse or the third verse? One of the two. It's at the very beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami has the verse, Akila Rasamrita Murti, in describing Krishna, how he is the Murti, the very form of rasa, nectarian rasa, Amrita, has a form based on nectar. So naturally, connecting with that nectar, connecting with that form, connecting with Krishna, that is, produces a nectarian result. And then we also have the famous verse of Rupa Goswami, which is actually what we're reading currently in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Tunde Tandavani Ritim Vitanute Tundavali Labhe, and etc. The last verse, the last line of the verse being and it's escaped me, but that the holy name of Krishna is concentrated nectar. Tunde Tandavani Ritim Vitanute Tundavali Labhe Kanako Hitam Kaniburi Sam Teta Pramana Samajayati Salam. No Jani Jani Tak Yadvi Amritai Krishna Tivanan. So the name of Krishna contains so much nectar that it's impossible to actually describe, infinite nectar. And that is because Krishna himself, the form of Krishna, God, is infinite, and so the name is also naturally infinite. And Rupa Goswami has used a poetic language of not having enough tongues to chant the holy name, or not having enough ears to properly receive the nectar that is associated with Krishna, and it was Krishna's name, which is also Krishna. And then we have the first verse of Shikshastakam, where Mahaprabhu says that Pratipadam Purna Amritas Vadanam. So talking about the effect again of the holy name, that its initial effect is Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, it cleans one's consciousness. And then the eventual effect is that at each step it's of increasing bliss. Pratipadam, Pratipadmi, the steps, as the steps go on, it is Purna Amrita, Purnam Amritas Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purna Amritas Vardhanam. Vardhana meaning to increase, Purna meaning full, and Amrita meaning nectar. So it's full of nectar, but that nectar is constantly increasing. So unlike any pleasure in the material atmosphere, there's always a limit to the quality, both the quality and the quantity that can be experienced. But Mahaprabhu is saying that the nectar associated with Krishna is not subject to that flaw. Rather, it's Pratipadam Purna Amritas Vardhanam, that the holy name and the nectar that it produces is at every step it's increasing. So it doesn't have any constriction or limitation in terms of how much it can expand and how much nectar it can deliver, i.e. how much nectar can be tasted as a result of connection with Krishna. And so again, infinite connection with infinite nectar. And unlike, in that sense, it's something like what I like to think of as a positive feedback loop, where most, in biology, there's something called a negative feedback loop, where there's a certain physiological reaction, let's say the production of a hormone like adrenaline in response to a fright or a shock. And then once that adrenaline level in the blood has reached a certain saturation point or a certain level, then another hormone is produced. Another hormone is produced to tell the adrenal glands to stop producing adrenaline. So that's a negative feedback to keep some kind of balance. But in spiritual, once the spiritual is touched upon, there's no such negative feedback. In fact, it's a positive feedback. So the more one tastes bhakti, the more one's capacity for tasting bhakti increases. The more one's capacity to bring bhakti into their life increases. And with that increase comes higher and higher experience of joy in relation to bhakti. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. But then one might say, so why is it easy to achieve that? What can it be easily achieved? And the answer is, again, as mentioned, that it's actually rarely achieved, as Rupa Goswami says, that one of the qualities of actual bhakti is that it's very rarely achieved. And in this sense, it takes a while for the sadhana process to purify the layers of contamination surrounding one's consciousness before the nectar, before that amrita can be appreciated and before it can be tasted. And in that regard, Rupa Goswami again says in Upadesha Amrita, there's a very practical verse. It says, Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapi Vidya Hitopatapta Rasanasya Charochikanu Hintvadarad Anurinam Kalushaiva Justice Sad Vikramad Bhavati Tad Garamulahantri. that at first, the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, which we've talked about in previous verses, contains concentrated nectar, puts one in touch with Akila Rasamrita Murti, the very form of Amrita, of nectar. That in itself, at first, even though it's of nectarian substance, actually tastes like poison. It actually tastes bitter. This is Rupa Goswami's own words. Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Si Tapya Vidya. And that when one is in a state of avidya, which means the opposite of vidya meaning knowledge and avidya meaning no knowledge, i.e. ignorance. When one is in a materially conditioned state, then that nectar which we see actually tastes like poison. Initially, this is the meaning of the verse. But with continued application of the medicine, which is Harinam, then gradually the true fundamental nature, the intrinsic quality of Harinam, i.e. Krishna, comes through, and its nectarian quality is able to be tasted through continued application of the sadhana, chanting Hare Krishna, the process, sadhana bhakti. And Rupa Goswami gives the analogy in that verse of jaundice, where the liver is not functioning properly, and there's a buildup of bile which enters the blood and makes the skin turn yellow. Traditionally, in Ayurveda, it was treated with some preparation involving rock candy, whether rock candy was the active ingredient or whether it was a vehicle for the medicine, whatever the case, was treated with rock candy. But one quality of that jaundice condition, jaundiced state, was that the rock candy would taste bitter. So even though rock candy is intrinsically sweet, to a healthy person, it tastes sweet. To a person in a diseased condition, it tastes bitter. So Rupa Goswami compares it to the chanting of the holy name by people in materially conditioned states, where what is intrinsically amrita, intrinsically nectarian, does not taste that way. Its true natural flavor or quality cannot be appreciated. But just like the candy, the sweetness of the candy cannot be appreciated by a person suffering from jaundice. But with continued application of the candy, this rock candy, the jaundice is cured and the person regains their natural taste, or their ability to taste the sweetness of the sugar, the rock candy. So Rupa Goswami saying that through continued chanting of the holy name, then its natural sweetness comes out. So although it's full of amrita, that amrita actually initially can taste a little bit poisonous. But through continued application of the chanting, application of the medicine, its natural sweetness, its natural amrita can be eventually tasted. And I mean, for me personally, it's a very poignant verse, because we constantly hear about, oh, this is poisonous, and that's amrita, and that's poison. But we've been so conditioned to feel that poison is amrita and amrita is poison for so long that we have to understand that there's a transition process in which what is actually good for us initially tastes a little bitter. And so if one can theoretically understand that, then it can give one the understanding by which they can ride over the bumps, which they can go through that initial bitter phase, where what is the concept of Shreya and Preya? What is Shreya? What is actually good for you may not feel initially good, may not give an initial dopamine rush or a sense of short-term thrill or enjoyment, but it delivers healthy, satisfying results eventually. So with the understanding of the concept that Rupa Goswami is describing in this verse, I think one can have that vision where they can understand initially what is good for me. The bhakti process may have its tribulations, may have its trials, but in the current state, that's temporary, and eventually the nectar that is intrinsic to Krishna and Krishna's name will come through, and everything will be hunky-dory. There's volumes off.
Your volume's off, Maharaj.
But Lavanya Moirili, your volume is on.
Yes. Well,
It's a sign.
Maharaj, please.
So really, by the way, that's a very like scientific breakdown of the science of Krishna consciousness, the science of dedication, and with the quotes, the references, etc., and a big reminder that everywhere, like the greatest acharyas are telling us that we've got a beautiful future in the ocean of nectar, and headed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastakam and Rupa Goswami, the head of the Sampradaya as given by Mahaprabhu. And so in a very substantial way expressed to us. And it's all about feeling, ultimately. So Lavanyamoy Devidasi, would you like to say a couple of words as you are a devotee?
I'm sure I mentioned to you before that I don't. Anyone else would like to say something? Really?
Oh, okay. We don't want to put you on the spot, but actually devotees do feel something. And it's the feeling which is the process that we are trying to make our feeling healthy, a healthy feeling. And we all know that in exploitation, there's always some bad feeling in the back of your throat at the end of the day, because it's everything is meant to be for Krishna. Once we've got this understanding and we've tried to do things for Krishna, for the devotees, then all else, really, it is clearly reactionary, if you like. And poison, we have this idea of this today, the idea of poison, things that don't taste well, but poison doesn't just not taste good and give you a bad reaction. I mean, Guru Maharaj sometimes says that, we are in the plane of death, where everything is going to die, where we are is going to die. I mean, right here, without even looking for it, in our present condition, so this is Srila Guru Maharaj also. I mean, often we've got also quotes from Srila Gurudev. In our present condition, there can be no cure to the disease of mortality. At every moment, we are losing ourselves in some way or other. But Srimad Bhagavatam says that the proper solution is to practice abnegation, detachment from the environment, by seeing it in relation to the service of Krishna. Service of Krishna, which means dedication. We must use things for his service. That knowledge by which you can attain perfection while maintaining your own individuality, interest, and prospect is possible only with bhakti, devotion, dedication. And then Srila Guru Maharaj just makes very clear in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. 6 words. By exploitation, you have to die. By exploitation, you have to die. And by abnegation, just to give up everything, you merge into a sort of zero, viraja, brahmaloka, which we heard about just before, in some unknown quarter, never to rise from that again. But, and then Guru Maharaj is taking this from the scripture, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, saying, but what is Bhagavatam saying? But I, the Srimad Bhagavatam, recommend the kind of renunciation and knowledge which is embraced by devotion, by dedication to Krishna. And if you accept that, then your inner self, your true self, can live forever in a happy life. Hare Krishna. So not only poison, but deadly poison. By exploitation, you will have to die. So, I mean, it's so clear. And we are on this ship and just we don't know when it's going to hit the iceberg and sink, but it's going to, maybe not hit an iceberg, but it's going to sink. The ship being this body is going to sink. The body must be finished. But we've got this super opportunity with Mahaprabhu, with the message of Mahaprabhu, with the service of Mahaprabhu coming through the parampara. We've got this wonderful opportunity. And we have freedom. And by the way, in the last 12 hours, or less, in fact, I've got two bits of good news, and two bits of good news from devotees, and that is two of our devotees who are in government guest houses around the world. Two of them have been released, I mean, in completely different countries and places. So in other words, two devotees who've been in jail have just very recently been released from jail. And one of them has been in jail for many years from bad association when he was young. And I've met him in jail, and he's really very reformed and very clear about Krishna consciousness. He became a devotee in jail. And I was thinking that he, for over 20 years, has been in jail. And then I'm thinking by now, maybe he'll be like a really good practitioner and preacher of Krishna consciousness. Now he's got his freedom. We have this hope for him. But you see, if you are incarcerated or you don't have your freedom, you're only in the association of prisoners, people who are like this, then you get your freedom to then, okay, now I can practice my religion of offering my food, cooking for Krishna, and everything else. We can do everything. We can use our freedom nicely. But it is a big analogy for life itself, that we are in this prison where we are on death row. We are all on death row, waiting for the call to come. And Srila Gurudev, maybe in Revealed Truth, he says that death isn't going to give us notice, or today or tomorrow I'm going to come and tell you. It can come at any time, any moment. And so we are in that very similar situation to being in the jail, but it's a different grade. So anyway, I was very happy to hear I know both of these devotees personally that have got released from jail. And we are joyful for them and hope that everything will go well in their life. One of them, perhaps still some more lessons to learn, but the other one who's been in jail for a long time, then I think some big devotional lessons have been learned, and that he can be a good devotee. We must understand that we are in jail, and we must try to get that conviction in the jail, not as a convict, but the conviction, the focus while we are in the jail, that no, we want to be a proper citizen of the proper world, the world of dedication, the world where we'll fit into the society and not be a burden on the society in any way. Hare Krishna. Anyway, for me, it was very good news to hear that they were released. And it's Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he had that expression for devotees who, for one reason or another, ended up in jail. He would call it not a jail, he would call it the government guest house. Oh, they're staying in the government guest house for a few months or a few years. Hare Krishna.
Dandas Maharaj, thank you for. Yeah, I know there was some devotee. He was 4 years. Gurudev used to say about him. He was 4 years in government guest house. Yeah, he was senior devotee. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ramananda Prabhu, there's a little list of devotees who've been guests in the government guest house. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Very enlivening session. Yeah, very nice meeting. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Guru Maharaj say actually, land of no reaction. I was listening to Srila Guru Maharaj, same thing he is explaining. He's saying Vrindavan is land of no reaction. We have to just follow. And that's why Gurudev also tried to tell under the guidance of a Vaishnava, because we don't know what's what. So we have to follow under the somebody's guidance. Yeah, I seen over years, many years, you've been very merciful to me. And because devotee want to do so many things, Gurudev said, no, you have to follow somebody under the senior devotee's guidance. That way we are protected. Just my 2 cents I wanted to share with you, with everybody. Yeah.
Yes, and our relationship with those devotees is that we'll also try to serve them. We'll try to please them by doing something for them. And just the other day, we were describing a little bit about life in Navadip and about devotees asking, oh, what service did you do? And what kind of things did you do? And some of the, just in conversation, some things come up. And some of the very simple things that we did, they are such treasures in our heart. You know, in Navadip, the electricity was, especially the early days, almost useless, especially when it was needed most, like in the evening, etc. If there was electricity, it would go down to a brown light, where a candle is brighter than the light, and the fan wouldn't go. So we would have service of fanning Guru Maharaj. And not just like as a formality, but fanning Guru Maharaj so that he's, keeping a little bit cool. So you can say that's the simplest thing you could possibly do. Yeah, maybe, but it's so sweet and unforgettable to have that opportunity to fan those who are giving us our source of nourishment, trying to do something for them, trying to render some service. And so even the smallest things in dedication really are like nectar. And then you put your whole mind and thought into the fan, and not doing it too fast or too slow, making the air flow, not hitting Guru Maharaj's hand, because sometimes he'll pick up his hand like this. But so you have to be very alert. And also other little list of sweet things that we did. Little things and bigger things maybe. But everything that we're doing for the devotees, when it's dedication, then it's sweet. The very opposite. Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada explains that there is some taste in stealing, in thief. A thief gets some, taste, rasa. There's a certain rasa in stealing. Krishna stole yogurt, and after all, didn't he? Anyway, but in the background, that there's a reaction is going to come, and it's completely different taste than in the taste of dedication, of giving. So by exploitation, we die, as we heard from Srila Guru Maharaj just now. But by dedication, by doing, by not just dedication by word, but when we can do something in a giving way, then there is some subtle, sweet, nourishing feeling that comes to the person, because that's the nature of the soul, to be a servitor. And so we've got these wonderful souls who've come, and we now need to try to do our best to serve them still by preserving what they've given and sharing that with those who wish to hear, the sincere seekers. And may they be pleased by the humble attempts of you all for hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping the 9 processes of devotional service which we've been given. Hare Krishna, Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam, Dasyam Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Hare Krishna. Okay, who needs to do homework to remember the 9 islands of Navadip, which correspond to the 9 processes of devotional service? Did you put up your hand, Chaitanya Moy, that you need to do the homework, or do you remember the 9 islands? Homework, okay. Hare Krishna. And Koladeep, the 4th island, when you follow Simantadeep, Godrumadeep, Madhyadeep, Koladeep, the speciality of Koladeep, is Pada Sevanam, Shravanam Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. It's the 4th process. And Pada Sevanam, savor in the holy Dham is most valuable. Savor in Koladeep, the place of savor, is extremely valuable. And savor at that place of Aparada Bhanjane Path, the place that Srila Guru Maharaj selected, that the most magnanimous, merciful Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in his most magnanimous and merciful pastime, then he performed that there in Koladeep, that area. Devotees are asked, write it where the mat is. Guru Maharaj said, not necessarily exactly where the temple is, but in Koladeep, that island of Navadip. And this is our connection. All over the world, we've got this now connection to Koladeep, to Navadip, to Chaitanya Saraswat Math of Guru Maharaj and of Gurudev. And it is service to the mat to chant the glories of Mahaprabhu, of Radha Krishna, of Seva in the line of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. So we are serving the Dham, we are serving their deities also, the deities of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar, in this connection of hearing, chanting, remembering, and service, Pada Sevanam. Hare Krishna. I did have some other things selected too, but for another time. Oh, by the way, I saw that maybe Audari Leela and maybe somebody else, I don't know, mentioned in the chat box, oh, we thought we were going to hear about chanting japa this week. Yes, but at the beginning of the Zoom today, those who were here at the beginning part, they heard that Devashis Prabhu is unable to attend today because he's at the eye doctor, called an optician, or in America, some very long word, ophthalmologist or something. I don't remember what it is, but optician in simple English. Anyway, so he's unable to be here today. He has the video, so we postponed until next week. So next week, we have the promise in the air of this little video, instructional, humorous, and knocking on our conscience a little bit when we see it, and some tips about japa, chanting japa, etc. So Devashis Prabhu let us know that he wouldn't be able to be here today. And by the way, Saraswati Didi also let us know she couldn't be here today, and she's looking after, she's going to see today some devotees, and she has some appointment, so she let us know too. But we're very happy. Gadadha Pandit Prabhu very capably presented us nicely about the theme of today, which is dedication to Krishna is nectar and exploitation is poison. Yes. So for those of us in the Europe side of the world, we have this to think about as we go to take our rest in the evening. And for the rest of you in Brazil and other places in the world, you can keep meditating on this throughout the day and into the night. All right, Gadadha Pandit Prabhu and all the devotees there in West London, Math, and all the many devotees with us from London and from Ireland and from all over, then greatly appreciate all of you, and may we all join in the grand Sankirtan of chanting the glories of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sunda Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. And all the present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Or in Gurudev's English, all the assembled devotees ki Jai. And to all of you, one by one, very happily seeing each of you. And many of you turned on your cameras. Wonderful to see you. Others, I can see your names, and I can see you through your names also. And from here in Vila Govinda Ashram in Italy to you all, sending our obeisances and all best wishes for the coming week. Have a successful Seva week. And next week it will be about Japa, is our expectation, with a humorous video to wake us up to what we're doing wrong or what we can improve on. You may be doing good, but we can always improve. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Sripad Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki
Hare Krishna. Stay safe, chant Hare Krishna, be happy, avoid the 10 offenses. And one of my other selections was Gurudev's 11th verse of his composition about the 10 offenses. You can go to the songbook and read that. It is so promising. Chant Hare Krishna and enter the land of nectar and leave the land of poison. Okay, we've got it all. Ami Aschi, I'm coming. Dandavad.